What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call a mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Yeah. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call a mental freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut. She says that I'm cool. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I believe in G-O-D. Don't believe in T-H-O-D. She keep playing me down. I'ma play her for fun. Don't really know my mental. Hi, this is John Cohen. Welcome to another episode of Web of Deception. I'm joined once again by my co-host, Jason Goodman. Jason, thanks again for taking time to help everybody understand this incredible cast of characters here. We're at episode number 15 in the Web of Deception. And in this episode, you're going to help us learn a little bit more about John B. Wells. And to be quite honest with you, this is somebody I don't know who he is. I think his choice in sunglasses is outstanding. He's got very good taste. But other than that, I have no idea who he is. So obviously he's an important character because you don't have 4 or 5 other people in the thumbnail.
Right.
Why don't you just give us a taste of who is this guy? How does he play into the Web of Deception? And then I'll tell everybody where they can join us for the patron-only portion of the show in just a second. But who is this guy? Why are we doing a whole episode on John B. Wells? What's his relevance here to the Web of Deception?
You're really probably going to be the only person who doesn't know who he is. I think it's important for people to remember, like, before the Las Vegas shooting, you were not going on YouTube and talking about things that flew in the face of the mainstream, what was basically understood. But John B. Wells is a very, very well-known guy. As a matter of fact, I knew about John B. Wells even before I knew about him because he's the voice of KDST radio on Grand Theft Auto. He's, let's see, what does it say here?
Game? In the Rockstar game, Grand Theft Auto, he's the voice of the radio thing?
Yeah.
How did he get that gig? That's a good gig, man. That
pretty
pays residual.
Famous radio guy. I mean, so John Wells. No, this is not him. This is not him. Not born 1983.
John B. Wells. John B. Wells.
Well,
take us back. I mean, I have no idea. Radio guy,
he's best known for running Caravan to Midnight, which is
what's that?
A radio show. It says here. Heard on the radio and television stations throughout the United States, Europe, Asia, South Africa, Australia, and South America, Wells is one of the world's most recognized voice artists. From network television programs to Lockheed Martin Aeronautical Company's Joint Strike Fighter and F-22 Raptor projects. What? I didn't know about that. Museum exhibits such as the Soviet Space and Ramses the Great, to movie trailers for Columbia and TriStar, Sony Pictures, and Disney. His ability to communicate has been acknowledged with numerous Emmys. I didn't know that. Clio and Marconi Awards. He's an Emmy winner. He's a bigger scumbag than I realized, John. I'm glad we're doing this. But he's an accomplished composer, musician,
so he's
writer.
A voice artist. So it sounds like he's a famous voice artist. If he's doing all this commercial voice work, and he had a radio show and all that. Okay, I had no idea who he was. Okay, so we're going to get deep into this. I am broadcasting right now on YouTube, and I'm very grateful to the folks at YouTube for letting us do this. I am also operating under a watchful eye at YouTube, so therefore, there's only so much we're going to be able to share on this portion of the show. So, Jason, I'm going to ask you to kind of tread lightly. And when we go to the patron-only portion of the show, where the people who are sponsoring your work, your investigative journalism, and my work,
will be able to get into the weeds and get deep into this stuff. But we kind of have to keep it a little bit light because I'm operating under the watchful eye right now. So let's tell everybody that for folks that want to help support your work, your journalism, the counter lawfare that you're doing, how can they support you? They can go to Patreon and Subscribestar and a bunch of options. What do you have for them? Where can they go?
Subscribestar.com or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, and of course odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, which has become the largest repository of legacy Crowdsource the Truth content and the most economical way to access the sponsor exclusive content. And people can also go to crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com. And of course, all of this stuff is simulcast on subscribestar.com/IamJohnCullen and patreon.com/IamJohnCullen. People got pissed off, John, with that last show. I think you might have been a target of some of that, but you're back to live streaming. Good. Thanks to everybody who's watching us there on the John E. Hoover YouTube channel.
Yeah, we've had a couple rough weeks. It seems that I've been a bad boy in that I keep holding things up or showing pictures of things that I'm not supposed to be doing, and it's like I'm just an idiot. And I'm grateful. Again, the guys at YouTube haven't been terribly rough with me. I did get a strike, but what are you gonna do? So net of this is I want to just kind of tread lightly on who he is, how he kind of entered into this web period. And then when we go to the patron only portion of the show, I know you've got some video footage queued up that we're going to share with our patrons. And, we'll get into the deeper part of this. But at what stage of this, we're at episode 15. So the most of the people watching now, they heard about, all these different characters. They know about what happened at Port of Charleston. They know about the trip to England with Trish the Dish. They know about, right? They know about Imran Awan and the shed versus the Rubbermaid box, right? So they know the background. Now I'm curious, when does this guy come in? Like, this is after George has lunch with Robert David Steele. This is like, where in the picture does this happen, and who is he, and like all that? So I'll shut up and you tell me.
Yeah. So somebody says it sounds like a disc jockey handle. I mean, it might be that. That's like, again, when I saw him, I was like, wait a minute, don't I know this guy? And it's like, oh yeah, he's like a famous radio guy. And I was super into Grand Theft Auto at a time, so I definitely knew about him. I recognized his voice from that. But it's weird. This is his YouTube channel right now. I don't understand why he doesn't have 100,000 people. He has a subscription channel, where you pay Arc Midnight or something like that. Now, see, it's interesting. This is Dave Janda. See, whenever we start looking into these characters, we always discover more stuff. So here's Dave Janda. He's a guy I got into a tangle with, with Kevin Shipp and Dennis Montgomery and the whole hammer and scorecard thing. So I don't know what the connection is between Dave Janda and John B. Wells. But, what we're going to talk about primarily tonight is where I tangled with him. See, here he's talking to Lieutenant General Flynn 6 years ago. And I tangled with these guys basically in 2018. And look, here he is talking to George. Isn't that strange? 6 years ago, two famous guys, there's only 98 views. And this was happening at this Red Pill Expo. So we're going to talk a little bit about these sort of like in-person confab things. I've been to a few of them now. Weird things have happened at each. And we're going to talk about the one that John B. Wells did. I think it was November, something like that, 2018. Maybe it was in Dallas. I think it was in Dallas. Called.
So he produced an event. I'm checking. Let me test my understanding. You're saying like he was like the producer of one of these big type things, and he was the guy. Like he's the main dude.
Yeah, like if you go to South by Southwest or the Consumer Electronics Show or some kind of big like industry event, this was Operation Classified, where he had kind of like a He had it, I think it was at like one of these Texas, they have these like Gaylord, I'm not trying to make fun of it, but the Gaylord Hotel in Texas, which is like a giant campus with restaurants and all kinds of crap going. It was like that.
Indoors.
It was like that.
Okay.
So he had like a hotel, just like a trade show area that's where I met the Moriartys. And, maybe they had a book or a video or something they were selling. So everybody was there with their different books and videos and coming up on stage giving speeches and stuff. And Robin Gritz told me, you should go to this thing, this John B. Wells. Here, he's talking about it on Facebook, or here's somebody talking about it on Facebook. What the hell are they saying?
We haven't done a Robin Gritz episode yet, have we? We haven't done Robin Gritz.
Maybe not. She's come up a few times in a bunch of different episodes. No, this is John B. Wells posting about his own thing. So, here, look at this. June 14th. So that's the night of the Port of Charleston. June 14th, 2017. I haven't read this. Wait.
This is relevant. Yeah.
He says,
let's take a look at this.
My take rant on who is George Webb. Now, but wait a minute, though, because he's got these other things over here where he's talking to George Webb.
Okay, but go back to the Facebook.
But I want to just see the date on that. So wait, this is July 3rd. Because he's very friendly to George Webb, who seems nervous in this. But let's see what he's saying here just 2 weeks before this video. So who is George Webb? If you haven't lived outside of America for more than 6 months, you cannot begin to understand how marinated we are in propaganda. If they want to discredit a message, they attack the messenger. If they don't align with or agree about absolutely everything regarding a messenger, then they discredit the message. It's a product of years of propaganda, and it rubbed off. Our emotions get weaponized. The snowflakes are looking for safe spaces. None of this has anything to do with George Webb. Grasp what I'm saying. My point is, the fact of the matter is George Webb is a Bernie supporter and a Jew. Okay? First of all, he's not, but okay. Same as Bernie, and probably very proud of it. Wow. What the hell? In other words, he's a self-confessed socialist Jew, and honestly, so what? And feels Bernie got done in by Hillary. That's true, isn't it? Bernie was a political victim of Hillary. We know that. How does George being a liberal Jew change the fact that Seth is still dead, murdered? Seth was also a Bernie supporter. Seth was Jewish as well. See, he's making all this nonsense about Seth Rich. We have to, this is so, the focus of all these morons is unbelievable. Seth was also a Bernie supporter and wanted to expose the corruption of the Clinton campaign. See, I fundamentally do not believe that statement. That's, I think, the distraction. The point is Seth's death, I also don't believe. The point is Seth's death is being sidelined by this fixation on George Webb. I don't care if George is a Hindu pygmy from Tasmania believing in the elephant boogeyman from the north. Seth is still dead, and the Russia conspiracy is still Bravo Sierra BS. What must stop this nonsense about allowing character assassination to discredit an event that happened, but it does not fit. I mean, this is a lot of nonsense here, John, but he seems to be angry with George because George had become involved in the Seth Rich investigation, and here we see John B. Wells. I'm referring to the names they're calling George to discredit his message. I have nothing against the Jewish people. I don't know if that really comes through in the way he writes about us, but anyway, that's a weird message from John B. Wells, very focused.
So was George contending that Seth Rich was not dead, and John B. Wells is contending that Seth Rich is dead?
I don't think it went to that. It was just that George had become involved in investigating Seth Rich, and he would go to the street, you're like, okay, this is where Seth Rich, he's recreating it, walking in the footsteps. And then he would do another video 5 minutes later, and he's at the 7-Eleven where Seth Rich got a soda. Then he'd do another video, he's like, this is Seth Rich farted over here. Then he made a cell phone call. And it's like, this barrage of stupid videos from George, but he's taking over the Seth Rich story, right? And here, RR channel says no evidence Rich is dead. I agree with that. A lot of strange evidence surrounding Seth Rich. It seems like a
Be
fake
careful.
story. And a big
wanna be
question about Seth Rich is, why is the FBI involved in this at all? If you get killed in Washington, D.C., the Washington, D.C. Metro Police investigate that. Now, maybe if you're from out of state and there's some motive from out of state and they start investigating some person who lives in another state, maybe then the FBI gets involved. But the story that we're told is the guy's walking home from a bar at 1 or 2 in the morning and somebody tried to steal his wallet and shoot him. And the cops would just investigate that, and that's it. Now we got the FBI, all these attorneys who are filing things, saying his laptop is doing this, everybody's laptop is doing something with the FBI, and it creates all this intrigue. But I don't know. It's that's the thing. It's confusing to understand what's going on between George Webb and John B. Wells, because we'll watch a little bit of this video when we go over to the sponsor exclusive segment, but I looked at it and it's a friendly, they're sitting down.
Right, well, this
it's not
is
like
weeks later, right? But this is 2 weeks after he's lambasting him. Now, how do you get engaged with John B. Wells? So you go to the event. It's some big thing.
Because this is 2017. He has
before the Vegas shooting.
This
right,
big party. You're
Right.
right. That is right before the Vegas. Not this party. Like a convention. I can't really find too much about it right now. Operation classified it as his convention. Robin Grits tells me, "Ooh, this is good. You should go to this."
But it's
and
like
look,
that
for me,
Acapulco thing.
yes, exactly like Anarchapulco or Red Pill.
Right.
This
right,
thing
right.
they're at is Red Pill. So somebody is producing these conferences to get a bunch of people like me and people who like to, enjoy watching our show and stuff, get us all together in these hotel events and make weird crap happen. I'm going to talk to people about how I got honeypotted at this stupid John B. Wells event. Ooh. Anthony Schaefer was there, the guy who he said he was trained at the farm. We'll talk about him. I could have put a lot of people in that thumbnail, but I wanted to focus on John B. Wells. And by the way, people who got pissed off, we did that video 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, people are going to get super pissed off today, not because we're going to say anything explicitly intended to piss people off, but because, people just like this guy, and when we say anything about him, it's just going to piss some people off. But take a look at this, John. A lot of people make comments and observations about how, kind of certain hand symbols that people will make, but I didn't take this picture of John B. Wells or tell him to make that pyramid symbol with his hands and publish it on the internet. He did that. So I don't know. Is he a Freemason? Is he signaling to somebody or some club or something?
I don't know. I actually was taught to do that in body language class. It's called templing.
By a Freemason.
I don't know. They left that part out in the class. They didn't say, and by the way, we've been doing this for 900 years. No, they left that part out. But it's called templing. And when you hold your hands like that, it's a sign of, it's like a subconscious sign of intelligence. So
maybe.
People,
Here, look at this.
This is the assessment. It's called templing.
Look at this. Operation Classified. Look at where it's hosted. This is steaming. This is that stupid network that Robert David Steele. This is the second thing, by the way, that comes up. When you put into Google Operation Classified John B. Wells, you get that Facebook thing that I thought was what we were just looking at, where he's talking about George Webb. Maybe not. Oh, no, here we go. Yeah, okay. Operation November 9th in Dallas. Okay? Hilton. So it was, a Hilton Conference Center, not the Gateway.
But now that's after the Vegas shooting. So the thing he's sitting down with at George.
That's the year before.
Right. So this might be the second. This is right. So this is the
second
iteration.
This is not Red Pill. This is now, his own event. But the thing that was strange about this, John, you've been involved in big corporate events. They're expensive as hell. And this thing, it cost money to go to, but I think it was maybe like $175. I would not have spent hundreds and hundreds. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was 200, 300. I wouldn't have spent $1,000 to go to this thing. But it had dinners and a whole like bar party, like, cocktail with hors d'oeuvres, like it was somebody's bar mitzvah. It was kind of, I mean, he only did it once, so maybe he had a very good year and blew a lot of money. I mean, that has happened, but I don't think so. I think this was an event that was sponsored by somebody who wanted to get a lot of people in a place. And, George's brother was very fascinated with this event as well. He was talking about like, oh yeah, go to that event and they're going to scrape everybody's phone, and they talk about it like they're joking. But, George's brother has a very asshole big brother, like, older kid in the neighborhood. Oh, here comes that asshole kind of vibe, who every day you're out playing with your friends and this fucking asshole comes out and ruins everybody's day. That's George's brother. And he was all over this event, like, oh yeah, everybody's phone is getting scraped or whatever. But this is also the event where Field McConnell basically revealed that he was going to betray me. He started acting very strangely at this event. And, this is the time where, Abel Danger is sort of, David and Field are parting ways. Field tries to blame that on me. There are some Abel Danger people at this thing who behave very strangely. Like I said, Anthony Schaefer was there. And then also, this is the precursor to Timothy Holmseth getting involved with Field and then Field ultimately going to jail. The important and weird thing about this event, John, is that, Tony Schaefer, you've heard of him, right? You know who he is?
I'm not sure that I have.
So Tony Schaefer, he is, let's see what the internet and everything says. Oh, wait a minute, that looked like the DODIG.mil is one of the first things that comes up when you pop this guy's name into Google. So Tony Schaefer, he is a Army, it says, reading room with the documents. What is this? Alleged misconduct by senior DOD officials concerning the Able Danger Program and Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer. I haven't read this document. This looks super interesting. But so he ran a thing called Able Danger, ABLE.
Right. That's why it sounds familiar. When we did the Able Danger story, you told us that this is what we got.
Right. Yes. We did talk about that. But the Able Danger that Field and David Hawkins were running was, we spoke about how they forced the card. And, I asked David how they came up with the name. And, Field McConnell thinks he's part of a global intelligence something or other. So he's on here. Field McConnell retired activity. Here, Able Danger, Global Intel. So it's the name of a radio show, but he's ABEL and Schaefer is ABLE. And it's just very noteworthy that this little John B. Wells, Texas cookout was, kind of the meeting of those two entities, Able and Able. And that's where all this weird stuff started happening to me. Isn't that interesting?
Very weird. Very weird. Now, Anthony Schaefer plays what kind of role at this event or so?
Well, I mean, he's kind of a celebrity at this event because, he was all over the news. This Able Danger thing was supposedly he's hunting terrorists. And he was saying that, he knew all about Mohammed Atta and these other guys from 9/11, and that the problem is we need the FBI and the CIA to be working more closely together. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, this was an intelligence failure. We need the CIA and the FBI to be spying domestically. So that's basically what this shithead was doing. And at the time, it sounded great. He's doing it right out in the open. But now we realize what that has led to, where,
is he the
FBI
architect of the IC? Is he the guy who came up with this whole...
No, I wouldn't say that. He's not that
community?
smart.
Okay.
He's just like a lieutenant colonel.
Now, where is he now? So where is he now?
Well, he became the head of this think tank called the London Center while we were at this John B. Wells event. This Dr. London, who was the head of that London, So following the Defense Intelligence Agency investigation into Schaefer, his access to classified information was revoked. So that's all, Flynn. And then he's friends with Flynn now, but the revocation essentially ended Schaefer's career as an intelligence officer. I say bullshit, both at the DIA and the Army Reserve. And he's currently the president of the London Center for Policy Research, which is, a think tank. It's a mini Brookings Institution. And while we were at the John B. Wells event, this Dr. London croaked. And so Schaefer took this thing over. Look, they've got DeRoy Murdoch in there. They had at one point Robin Gritz.
Jim Woolsey.
Right, CIA Woolsey. So, I mean, this is another
Chang.
Bullshit CIA.
But Gordon,
Yeah.
they got Gordon. Gordon's been on your show, so be careful.
He's refused the last appearance and didn't tell me why, because I think he likes Charles and doesn't like me, because I've pointed out things like this London Policy Center is obviously CIA bullshit.
Right.
In my opinion.
Well, again, I was concerned when you confronted Gordon Chang and you said, there weren't 10 people dead in Hong Kong. And he also, yeah, right. Just like, yeah. Like,
did I say that to him on the show and he didn't care?
Yeah. Yeah, he was just like, yeah, well, yeah. That was,
he's on a different story. What? He's about economic stuff in China. But John, we do have to now make our switcheroo here over to the subscribestar.com/IamJohnCullen, patreon.com/IamJohnCullen, odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.subscribestar.com, and Subscribestar and Patreon/crowdsourcethetruth. We got a lot of stuff to talk about with those videos and all these details about Schaefer, his secretary or whatever that girl was. I might not have even told you this story.
I don't know any of this stuff. This is all new to me, so I'm fascinated by it. This is very interesting. You think about for a second before you play the rollout video, and as you're queuing that up, think about all these events, this Anarcho-Polko thing and this event and the Red Dawn or whatever the hell these things are that you kept going to.
Red Pill.
And Red Pill, whatever the hell. So you go to all these events, and although, so-and-so is saying they're scraping your phone, they don't need to scrape your phone. Didn't you register for the event? They have your name. They have your phone number. But in other
words, if they can maybe get a stingray on it, I think they can do things to the phone where, change whatever, access stuff. I don't know.
That's the beauty of the Gaylord. So this is the beauty. And we'll talk about this
Hilton,
with the Patreon.
not the Gaylord. But it was big. It was a nice hotel, expensive, food.
Fabulous. Guess what? When you agree to use the Wi-Fi.
Oh, they're doing that anyway, right.
Yeah, that's right, because it's 55 pages of disclosure that you just agreed to. And they said, by the way, yeah, we're pulling all your contacts from your contact list as part of the condition of using our Wi-Fi. So that's why these events, man, who do you think is funding this? Chick-fil-A? No, I don't think so. So we'll get into this with the patrons. Really looking forward to it. Thank you guys for joining episode 15 of Web of Deception. John B. Wells will be back in just a few minutes with our patrons. I'm John Cullen. Thanks for joining.
It's one small step for man. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call a man a freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. Yeah. What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call a man a freeze. When these people talk too much, put that shit in slow motion. Yeah, I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. She says that I'm cool. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I believe in G.O.D. Don't believe in T.H.O.D. She keep playing me down. I'ma play her for fun. Don't really know my mental. Let me give you the picture like stencil. Falling down in the drought. No flow rain was pouring down. See that pain was all around. See my mom was kinda loud. Didn't know which way to turn. Flow was cool, but I still felt burned. Energy up, you can feel my surge. I'ma kill everything like this bird. It's one small step for man. What you know about